idea for your film, did it ever cross your mind what you would do if you were in these kids' situations? Do you think you could kill somebody else in order to survive?
That was actually the ongoing conversation day to day about finding how each one of them would react. So it was like, if I don't want to die for sure, what would I do if I was a bit more psychopath or a bit less psychopath? So it was always about thinking about that and managing, to find the right characters' reactions.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's certainly, we're noticing there's definitely a pattern, well, pattern is probably not the right word, but a trend. This is a bit of a trope in a lot of horror films that you can take in a lot of different directions, such as Battle Royale, Hunger Games, the Belko Experiment, or a recent video game, Until Dawn. What did you want to bring to this idea of, the use, first of all, of the game and the electronic game, but also this idea of who's going to die and who's going to kill?
I think we really wanted to have fun, so we wanted to experiment with those genre and plus things that inspired us as children, but also as an adult. So we have mainly video games reference, new video games, but also Jumanji in your face. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to say no, it's something totally new. It's something that inspired us from the beginning. So we just played with those genre and those codes. Yeah.
And working with your actors, how did you sort of manage to form the camaraderie and then of course the friction between these group of people?
I think there's been a lot of little happy hazard that happy surprise that made them became tight. One of them is especially that we shot in a chronological order, mm-hmm. So it made them follow the whole journey of the actors of the characters in the movie, and the actors were living this journey too, having to meet each of one of them, party. After that, they had the first head explosion. So they were really living it through. So they became really tight, and they all became super good friends even to this day.
And also, I think in the casting process, we did individually casting, but also group casting to see if, as a group, they could become friends. And later on, we'd go to the park together, just pitch ball and play and drinks, just to see if the connection between them could work. And most of them are best friends now, or their friends. So it worked in a way that was very for us. It was a must.
What did you find the most challenging aspect of making the film, besides raising the money, which in my mind is probably always the most difficult part of any film? What did you find the most challenging in both good and bad ways in making the film?
It's funny because besides finding the money, but finding the money for our part
was not our job.
Was not our job, but was extremely complicated because we're very lucky with Game of Death right now, because at first it was a web series. It wasn't supposed to be a movie. So we've managed, because we wrote the script and we were like, yeah, you know what, guys, it's not going to be a web series. We really want this to be done as a movie. Mm-hmm. So just to keep it and to make people understand that it can both live in a digital series and a film. Also, it was very difficult for us for a long time because people had to believe us that it's going to work either way. So that was the financial aspect of it. But as for the movie itself, since it was our first movie together, we wanted to be so prepared to be sure to do what we wanted to do, that we passed months and months and months just scene by scene, shot by shot, just analyzing what it should be. So in the shooting, it was quite cool, just because we already what we wanted to do. Plus we had meetings with DPs before to block scenes, but way before that usually we do. So it was more okay, it's raining right now, what are we gonna do? But it wasn't a big, the blood aspect was quite cool, but it was not challenging for us.
I would say the most challenging part was probably writing the script, and locking the script, because it was the first time we were okay, we want to write the script. We want to write a script and to be that movie, to have that movie to be really what we want it to be. Mm-hmm. So we teamed up with Head Hardcore and Phil Kalin, and just since we were noob, locking it and say, okay, this is what we're going to shoot, was is it really good? Is it so? That moment was more challenging, I think, for us.
And working together, this is always a good question. I mean, directing teams are rare, but they're actually becoming slightly more common. Is there friction? Do you divide and conquer? Is everything a consultation? How do you find working, doing what is essentially one job between two people?
Yeah, it's super natural for us. We've been working together for the last 10 years, doing just report in South by Southwest, getting drunk and going to music festivals. We did music videos. So the last 10 years we work in the same office as a freelancer. So we're always together, we're friends. We when we end our day of work, we go grab a beer with some other friends, but we're kind of always together, and it's super natural. It's just, and we do everything on set. It's like sometimes he goes to talk to the actors, I talk with the DP, and the next scene, it's vice versa. I go with the actors. It's really like we become like a weird blob on set.
Yeah, and I think it's challenging, but for the good ways. Because if we wrote something or we want to shoot something, okay, but can we do it better? It's always the question that comes to our mind, because we want to challenge ourselves to make it the best as possible. So for this, it's good. And the only kind of advice, it's like to talk before going to talk to other people, just to make sure that we first want to do that instead of just like talking to everyone. So if we communicate good, it's gonna be good, like on the set, and there's no not like a bad way, I think, of like being a duo. I think it's like it gives us more freedom, if so, because we just challenge ourselves. So but I get it also that like if he wants to make a movie about his ex-girlfriend from the past 10 years, I'm not gonna do that with him. So we're not working on a personal level. We're working as like what's the next funny thing we want to do, or the next sci-fi, but if I want to do something about my grandmother, it's not gonna be a duo thing. But, So yeah.
So you understand like when projects require you to work together and when they don't need it.
Yeah, and since as a duo we're becoming a duo more and more, so we want to work more as a duo. But if in 5 years we have something else, it's okay. Sometimes he does theater scenography, and I do like weird video games with friends. So it's okay, but we always come back at the end doing something together.
Yeah, it's like we're already doing many stuff on our side, music videos, whatever.
Commercial also.
But at this point, when we have a big project, we end up getting together.
And are you going to keep developing web series? Are you going to do another feature film?
Good question. Both. I think both, because
what's the difference for a web series for you? Do you find a lot of differences?
Freedom as for one part, because it was. As for now, we have a lot of freedom in web series, because it's in a way it's like less important for some people, but it's still content, and at the end of the day, I think content is content. So if it's good, it's good. But we have a lot of freedom doing web series stuff. We did a musical, like a very weird musical in French called Polyvalente, and it's like motion crafty, and it could haven't been done in a feature film, but we want to do both. And right now, instead of trying to hijack a budget to do like a web series and a movie at the same time, we want to organize things, like, okay, we're gonna do that movie, then this web series. So we just want to be more clear on the format and try to play with the format also.
Yeah, so right now we have a couple pitch. Some are for some web series, some are for movies, and we want to just throw that to every producer possible and to try to make that happen.